Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So, it's time for another franchise ranking video today. And today, guys, I'm going to be ranking one of my favourite slasher franchises of all time, guys. And this is a franchise which, in my opinion, only works best as a standalone one movie alone. I am like a quarter of this franchise, and this franchise is none other than, of course, the franchise of Candyman. So there are 4 films in this franchise, guys, and I'm going to be ranking them from the one best, in my opinion, to the worst. So yeah, now, if you guys don't agree with me, that's absolutely fine, but please respect my opinion just like I respect yours. Okay, so let's begin the ranking, shall we? So, starting with what is absolutely my favourite, guys, and in my opinion, the only best one of this whole franchise, I'm going to be going without a single doubt with the original movie, which of course is none other than Candyman, released in 1992, directed by Bernard Rose, and this is one of my favourite slasher films of all time. I really love this film, guys. I think it's one of the greatest movies in the slasher genre I've seen. It's just absolutely phenomenal, really is. So, what I love about it is, of course, it has a really great cast of actors. So, the main highlight of this film, guys, is in my opinion, no doubt the amazing Tony Todd as the title character Candyman. He's a very unique villainous character, a unique, interesting villain, because he isn't a pure evil murderer, but he's just a spirit of a deceased artist victim to racism that wants to remain an epitaph to society. And if his legend is forgotten or doubted, he will die with it. And he's, of course, summoned if you say his name 5 times in a mirror. So, yeah. That's definitely a very unique concept right there. Really is. He's just an absolutely incredible villain and absolutely terrifying. Tony was really scary in this film, guys. He really was. Absolutely frightening. And he's got such a perfect deep voice for a role. Absolutely. Just absolutely incredible. And, oh, wow. And definitely, in my opinion, his best role that I've seen of all time, absolutely. And just absolutely amazing. And there's lots of brilliant quotes in this. For example, of course, be my victim. I am the writing on the wall, the whispers in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. But now I must shed innocent blood. Come with me. Just so chilling right there, isn't it? And I also, as well, of course, love the addition as well of Virginia Madsen as the main protagonist, which, of course, is of course, Helen Lyle. And this is probably my favourite role of Virginia, guys. And this is also, as well, she's also, as well, one of my favourite, female characters, as well, in, slasher movies. She's definitely a very well-developed character. And I think it's probably her best role I've seen by Virginia. And definitely, in my opinion, better than her role as Princess Irulan in that 1984 June movie, which I thought was very weird and mediocre. In this, I thought she was way better. Absolutely. This is probably my favourite role of her. And the visuals are very great as well to see, guys. Absolutely great cinematography. And a very scary music score by Philip Glass, which is definitely pretty frightening to listen to. And there's also amazing practical effects as well for its time, which are definitely brilliant. And they definitely hold up because this film is 30 years old, guys, from 1992. And it's aged pretty well because of the great effects. And as a fun fact, guys, in the scenes where Candyman is covered in the bees, Tony Todd was actually covered in real bees. And he still pulls off an amazing performance even when he's got bees on him. And because I've got a phobia of bugs, I wouldn't be able to do what he did as Candyman with bees on me. No way. And also, as well, it was also very authentic because it was also, of course, filmed in Chicago, guys, where the film is set. It was actually filmed on location, which is brilliant. And it was definitely a great choice to cast Virginia Madsen because she's actually from Chicago, which is pretty cool. So definitely a great casting choice right there. And she, of course, definitely nailed the role of Helen. And there was also a great supporting cast members in this, like Xander Berkeley and Cassie Lemons. And the whole cast was great. And it also has a very amazing, heartwarming and intense climax as well, guys. Which, in my opinion, is the true end of the whole franchise and why they shouldn't have done anything after it. So, because at the end of the movie, Helen rescues her mother's baby from the Candyman, and she gets burnt to a crisp by the flames that were lit on a massive pile of metal that she got herself stuck in. And that, of course, ended Candyman right there. And that's why, in my opinion, guys, this movie is just one film, a standalone movie, which it did not need any continuation whatsoever. So, yeah, I'll be getting to what came first in a moment. But long story short, guys, this right here is a masterpiece. One of my favourite slasher films of all time. I love Candyman 1992. And if I was to give this movie a score out of 10, I would give it a full-blown 10 out of 10, yeah. Absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. I just love Candyman. And sadly, guys, that's the end of the good stuff. Sadly, so on to what is, of course, in second place, because I unfortunately don't like anything that came out of this movie because none of them was needed at all. I'm going to be going with what is, of course, last year's Candyman. So, yeah, this film was released last year, guys, as a direct sequel to the first movie, ignoring the previous two films which came before this, and unfortunately, though, this was, in my opinion, a massive letdown, and I think this movie is insanely overrated because it has very high scores on like things like Rotten Tomatoes, and I personally wouldn't give it a high score. I'd give it a low score because I don't like it. I think it's a big letdown. This was directed by Nia DaCosta. Now, is anything good out of a movie? The main character of this film, guys, is, of course, Anthony, who is, of course, I think he's the baby from the original movie, and he's played by Yaya Abdul-Mateen II. And I will say that even though sometimes he was a bit bland, I thought he was slightly better than how he was as fake Morpheus, as I call him, in of course, last year's Abomination being Matrix Resurrections. He was way better in this role compared to how he was as fake Morpheus in Matrix Resurrections, absolutely, or as I call it, Pissurrections, so yeah. And also, so I guess some of the kills are also okay too, and there's also, of course, a voice cameo by Virginia Madsen as Helen, which was somewhat of a good pleasure to hear her voice, but I wish she appeared for like maybe a flashback or something like that, but sadly not. And on to bad quality, so I'm going to give a cat out of the bag, guys, and say that this movie was not needed at all, and it makes Helen's sacrifice absolutely pointless to do follow-ups to the original movie. It makes her sacrifice pointless because the Candyman comes back in the sequels, even though he got destroyed in the original movie. It's just really stupid, really, what they did, and the film has many characters who are very annoying and undeveloped, so I've said that sometimes Anthony is bland, even though he was better than in this role than he was as fake Morpheus in Pissurrections, and I didn't really like Troy and Grady either, really, or Clive and Jessica, really. They were irritating, in my opinion, pretty annoying, and I also did not like the antagonist called Billy Burke, either played by Coleman Domingo. I thought he was also very annoying and very badly developed as well, and the third act is just so stupid because he becomes a villain out of nowhere. It makes no sense whatsoever, and the setup was just ridiculous, and when it comes to Candyman himself, guys, he does appear, but sadly, it's only at the final scene of the film, which is a big letdown because they confirmed Tony would be reprising his role, but it's only at the end of the movie, and I think that's probably an example of a cameo appearance, guys, where I was not happy. I was not happy at all, because when he appeared, only at the end of the movie wasted, I was like, oh, for F's sake, because I wasn't happy. And he only has one line, which of course is, tell everyone. And that's it. That's all you get of Tony. It's one absolute waste of Tony, which is disappointing. I don't get it because in this film, guys, we see Candyman killing people, so why couldn't they get Tony to play him in those scenes? That's just so stupid. A missed opportunity right there to not bring him back for those scenes to kill the people where Candyman gets summoned. It's just ridiculous. Also, I also feel the movie is also very badly rushed too, because this film is quite short, guys. You know, pretty short, because it's only 91 minutes, and it feels really badly rushed, in my opinion. And I thankfully didn't waste money on it because I watched it on Amazon Prime, guys, because for some reason it's a Prime exclusive in my country. I watched it on there, and it felt rushed, in my opinion. And it felt like a direct-to-video movie, really, because how rushed it was, really. And it made Helen's sacrifice pointless to bring back Candyman. They shouldn't have done a sequel in the first place at all. And there's also plot holes too as well, because in the scene where, of course, Jericho and Clive get Candyman to kill them, Jericho is the one who summons Candyman by saying his name 5 times in the mirror, but this means that only she should be killed, but Clive gets killed as well. That makes no sense. And also, at the end of the movie, when Brianna's in the police car, she summons Candyman in the police car's mirror, but she says it only 4 times, just 4, and then Candyman appears. You're supposed to say the name 5 times, not 4. Yeah, that is just ridiculous, in my opinion. A plot hole right there. How they completely botched the law of Candyman, because he only appears if you say his name 5 times in a mirror. 5 times. So, yeah. Just so ridiculous. And goodness me. And there's lots of pointless filler scenes as well, which were not needed at all. And that could have been cut out. There's mediocre editing as well, because like I said, this movie, in my opinion, feels pretty badly rushed. Yeah, it's just pretty stupid. So, yeah, I did not like this film, guys. And if I was to give it a score out of 10, I'll give it a very bad 4.5 out of 10. So, it may have been slightly more tolerable compared to what I'm going to get to next, but it was still a letdown, in my opinion. And in my opinion, Candyman only went best as one movie alone. And now on to third place, guys, because I also did not like this movie. I'm going to go with what is, of course, the second installment, which, of course, is Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. Oh, my God, right. This is just not how you do a sequel to an absolute masterpiece. This is not how you do it. So this was directed, of course, by Bill Condon, and, like, honestly, there's barely much good things about this movie. I guess maybe that, you know, Tony is still good as Candyman. He's still quite scary, I guess, maybe. And Philip Glass's music is also still good and scary too, I guess. So Tony and Philip Glass's music was good. And I guess some of the practical effects are also okay to like the bees, and also the kills. Some of the kills are also okay as well. And so, but on to bad quality. So, what is about this film, guys, is despite being a sequel to the original movie, it doesn't even connect to it. It feels like its own standalone thing, which is ridiculous. Doesn't even reference the original movie. Really, it's just so stupid. And I also could not care less about any human character in this movie at all. Any of them. I didn't really like any of the characters because I couldn't connect to them. They weren't really even properly either, in my opinion. It was ridiculous. And yeah, it was just pretty stupid. And it was also insanely boring as well, guys. Because for a 95-minute movie, the movie was extremely boring and it dragged on really long. I mean, because the first movie is 101 minutes, guys, and it had really great pacing, whereas this movie did not. It felt really slow despite being shorter. You know, 6 minutes shorter, and it felt longer. Yeah, it was just pretty stupid. And they also, as well, you know, showed how Candyman becomes Candyman, which is just pretty stupid because it takes away the mystery of his character. Pretty stupid, really. How they reveal that his name is of course, Daniel Robital, of course. But they shouldn't have, you know, given his origin story like that. They should have kept him a mysterious horror character, really. Because, yeah, that's just stupid, really. You can't humanise horror characters like that. It doesn't work, in my opinion. So, this movie was just a massive letdown, guys. If I was to give it a score out of 10, I would probably give it a very, very bad 4 out of 10. Because this movie was trash, in my opinion. And unnecessary sequel. There was no need to do any sequels to a movie because Candyman was killed at the end of the first movie, destroyed. There was no need to bring him back at all after the first movie. No way. But, despite me hating this movie, guys, as of course, it got something else after it. And this leads on to what is in last place for me. A slash film which I absolutely despise with a burning passion. One of the all-time worst horror films I've ever seen in my whole life. And that's none other than Candyman 3, Day of the Dead. Oh my God. I absolutely despise this film, guys. It's pure garbage from start to finish, and it might also be the worst movie that I've seen released in 1999 as well, because it's just pure trash. And it might also probably be one of the all-time worst horror films I've ever seen of all time, alongside things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation and Halloween Resurrection and Rob Zombie's second remake director's cut of Halloween 2. But yeah, what's about this film, guys? So this film was, of course, directed by Turi Meyer, and honestly, guys, right, if you were to ask me if there's any good about a movie, I'm going to simply say that there is nothing good about it. Nothing at all. Like, there was literally no redeeming quality whatsoever in this movie at all. That's how bad it is, guys. It's one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing good about it. So, what's bad about it is, so you guys are probably going to ask me, you know, did Tony Todd save the film? Well, I'm going to say no, because Candyman, in my opinion, was very badly ruined, because in this film, guys, they really ruined him beyond all belief, because compared to the original movie and some of the second movie, and I guess maybe his cameo at the end of the direct sequel, even though he was absolutely wasted beyond all belief. In this film, guys, they made him goofy. Yeah, they made Candyman goofy. And that is just, talk about character assassination right there. Yeah, it's just absolutely stupid, really. Goodness me. Like, what do we do to Candyman? I mean, to quote Vito Corleone, look how I'm asking my boy. They really ruined Candyman. Oh my goodness. Like, he was so goofy and not even scary either, in my opinion. And he reuses many lines that he said before in the original movie, so it feel less impactful here because of the way he says them, because he doesn't sound scary. And I didn't even like his coat either in this film, his jacket either. I prefer his original costume way more. And just like in the second movie, guys, I once could not care less about the characters in this movie, you know, protagonists, because they were so bland and annoying and mediocre. I especially did not love a character played by Donna Derrico either. Very mediocre character, in my opinion, just terrible, really. Honest to God, it was horrendous. And I couldn't care less about the characters at all. So that's why I was rooting for Candyman to kill them, because they were so incredibly annoying as hell. Hated them. And also as well, the movie also completely botches the lore of Candyman because they retcon his backstory, which is just so dumb. Like, Candyman is called Daniel Robital, and this film ruined that. Really did. And the plot was so weak and terrible. Really was. And the film had a very bland, happy ending, which was also, in my opinion, very anticlimactic as well. Because despite Candyman having supernatural powers, guys, is like teleportation, for example, he was taken after a character called Caroline smashes a mirror. Like, couldn't he have teleported and snatched a mirror off Caroline? Oh my goodness. That's how bad this third film is, guys. It's just beyond garbage. It really is. Goodness me. And despite this film being a Candyman movie, guys, the tone is so inferior to the original movie. It really is. Like, it feels like a made-for-television movie compared to the original movie. It was just garbage. Really was. And I also thought the music was also very underwhelming, composed by Adam Gorgoni. Like, nowhere near as scary as Philip Glass's music either, in my opinion. No way. Absolutely not. Honestly, it was just pretty terrible, really. Yeah, hated the music in this, yeah. And the editing was also terrible as well, beyond all belief. Like, goodness me. And the pacing was also awful, too. I felt like I was watching a 3-hour movie because how slow it was. And there's barely anything intense happening, barely any kills or anything like that. It was just awful, in my opinion. Just unbearable. Like, and this film, guys, is why you should sometimes let a horror character stay dead. Because by bringing him back in the sequels, they really ruined Candyman. And this film definitely did it because it made him goofy. Oh my God, like, why do we do that? Why? Oh my God. Honest to God. So, yeah. I've had enough ranting about this third movie. It's just garbage. So, if I was to give a score out of 10 to Candyman, David Dead, released in 1999, I'm going to give it a very, very bad 0 out of 10. So, yeah, excuse me all the way. It's just garbage, in my opinion. And one of the all-time worst slash films I've ever seen in my life. It was just awful, in my opinion. Just pure garbage from start to finish. There's literally nothing good about it at all. Nothing. So, guys, that's me doing my ranking of the Candyman films. And I am really hoping they won't do any more now. Because the franchise needs to just go die now. It's run its course. Because in my opinion, it should have only worked as one film. Just one. So, yeah. And this is also the only film I'm going to own, guys, in the franchise. I'm only going to own the original. There's no way I'm ever going to own what came after it. No way at all. Because, yeah, everything that came after it was either a letdown or just garbage, really. So if there's no way I'm ever going to own what came after a movie, hell no. And, I mean, seriously, guys, right? If I wasn't, you know, doing this ranking video right now, guys, I'd have probably turned off the sequels early into them because they were just terrible. I'd have probably switched them off early into them because they were just so bad. They really were. Like, honestly, I think they nearly bored me to sleep too because how bad they were as well. So boring. Goodness me. So the only way they can save this franchise is by just stopping. They need to stop making movies, and hopefully they won't do it anymore after this one from last year. I really hope so. Yeah, they're not doing any more. If they do, I'm not going to watch them. Hell no. And I will review the films in the future, guys, as well, doing separate reviews for movies. I'll definitely give this one a very positive review because I love this movie, but viewers I'm not going to give positive reviews to. Hell no, they're going to get trash talks because I hate them. So, yeah. So, guys, this is me doing my ranking of the Candyman franchise. So in first place, obviously, would have to be the original. In my opinion, the only one of the franchise. Second place would be the direct sequel from last year, which is called Candyman. So I call it Candyman 2021 to avoid confusion with the original. It's just stupid how it's got sent down as the original. And third place will be Farewell to the Flesh. And in last place, and definitely in least place, Day of the Dead. So, you know, drill, guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to comments how you guys would rank Candyman films if you've seen today, you guys would rank them. Also, be sure to join Team Prime and subscribe for this in the future. If you'd like to remember, you can respond to these lads, or you can leave a description, and I'll see you all later.